Hello all of you beautiful people, Jules here for WhatCulture.com, and you know what? It's finally here. After its initial announcement in frickin' 2017, Biomutant is shaping up to finally drop on PS4, Xbox One and PC on May the 25th. To say that this has been something of a long wait is kind of like saying that Everest is a bit of a hill. Quite the understatement. However, this tale of the indie game that could is finally pulling into the station to rapturous cheers. However, what if you've not boarded this hype train quite yet, or have been living under a rock with your grasshopper automaton and have no idea what Biomutant even is? Well, fret not, my friends, because we've been lucky enough to get a peek behind the scenes at some of the action that fans can expect come launch day, and we are going to share the best, biggest, and most explosive features that are coursing through Biomutant's radioactive and rather glowy veins. So let's center our key energy, do some Wung Fu stretches, and see what flex this game is bringing to the battlefield. As I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are 7 incredible Biomutant features that will blow you away. Number 7, it's got 3 combat models rolled into one. So one of the much touted features of Biomutant, especially in the lead up to its release, which has seen multiple trailers focusing on the subject, is its combat. Now you might be a Wii mouse thing, but that's not to say that you're a pushover. In fact, thanks to your direct connection to the mystical martial arts known as Wung Fu, you'll be taking down monsters nearly 10 times your size with ease. In fact, so skilled are you with every known weapon in the world that you've got an insane amount of choice when it comes to kicking the crap out of your opponents. And the game fully lets you lean into one of its 3 main avenues of gunslinger, melee brawler, or spellslinger, or even cherry pick from all 3 to make a custom array of battle powers. Switching between guns to magic to smashing people into the ground is cathartic joy. And where most games lock you into one career path, Biomutant gives you free rein to sample the delights of a myriad of different skills. And when you're sliding under opponents' legs, only to spin around and become a whirlwind of sharp metal before entering a Wung Fu state and unleashing a barrage of fist attacks, it's hard not to be utterly blown away at the fluidity of combat and just how much you've shaped the course of the action. Number 6, the crafting system is immense. And I mean that quite literally. After just a few hours of gameplay, your tiny terror of a protagonist is going to not only be covered in the blood and rather adorable guts of your enemies, but also be slogging around a metric shedload of gear that you've either salvaged from ruined cities and encampments, traded for with vendors that can be found roaming the world, or from the cold dead hands of those who dared to call you cute. And seeing as outside of specific zones which require you to wear certain items to avoid choking to death or freezing solid, you'll not need the 30 or so dirty pairs of trousers that you fished from a bin. So why not break them down into base elements and begin making your current gear even better? Each item you pick up will not only have a rundown of the stats and buffs that it provides, but it will also show you how many add-ons you can stitch and sew into them. These slots allow you to put extra padding on your armor, provide elemental resistances, or better still, allow you to completely customize your weapons, making them deadlier and often genuinely terrifying to look at. For example, that 2-handed great blade not whomping hard enough will weld some rusty nails to it. Are your guns feeling a little bit limp? Well, an expanded magazine and a dual muzzle that kicks out twice the amount of bullets is definitely going to help. Seriously, there are so many different items to wear, collect, break, and craft that it's insane to think how much time the devs spent on this. Number 5, granular character creation directly affects gameplay. Now, whereas a lot of video games promise you that your character will be completely unique and then offer you at best 3 or 4 choices which sometimes feel awfully similar to one another, Biomutant looks you dead in the eye and says, "You want to get weird? Let's get weird." And weird you shall get, my friend, because the character creation menu here is akin to diving into the deep end of the pool for all the choice and creative freedom that you're given. Firstly, you can select what your main character career path is going to be, ranging from mad spellcaster to dual-wielding swordsman to full-on bandana sporting commando, each of which will give you specific perks and an initial loadout. Yet this is just the tip of the Bioberg, my friend, as now you get full control over what skills and stats that you'd like, and the manipulation of which affects your very skeletal structure. Pouring points into intelligence swells the brain, and if you want to become stronger and more agile, then you'll see your limbs lengthen and the mass begin to load up. Seriously, that's some heft. It's hilarious and rather horrifying to see your creation come to life, although some definitely look like they should be put down come the end of things. Still, no time to worry about how they'd fit a shirt over that giant melon head, as it's time to decal the fur, which, as you'd expect in a game with mutation at its core, swings from muted blacks and browns all the way to fluorescent incessant eye burners. Then to top it all off, you get to pick certain elemental resistances, which might not seem like much at first, but this one table right here indeed might be the most essential, as there are many beasties out in the world that love throwing Earth, Wind and Fire's greatest hits album at you, so you want to take a moment and ponder which horrors that you'd like to be, well, less horrible once you venture out. Number 4. It doesn't shy away from environmentalism issues. If you thought that the gear crafting and character customization features were jaw-dropping, well, then prepare to have your head absolutely rocked by the game's core narrative, because, my friend, it is so on the nose that it bloody breaks it. And you know what? That's not a bad thing. You see, the game almost relentlessly tells you at every turn that the world is both one reborn from the ashes of destruction from a previous race of beings, but itself is also dying now that the Tree of Life has begun to wither, and hammers home the importance of respecting nature in all of its forms. And I mean that quite literally, as the game details that the race that came before, which is clearly the human race, doomed itself by over-mining, over-polluting, and letting big corporations decide for the individual what was air quotes best for society, and says in just about as many words, we are all going to die if this repeats itself. Sometimes a message doesn't need to be subtle to be powerful, as a brick to the head is sure to be felt no matter how blunt the expression. Number 3. You literally decide the fate of the world. Now, it's a very common feature to advertise that your game has a moral choice system as a way of giving players more freedom in tailoring the experience to be more unique to them. However, a lot of these choices often boil down to key moments or, indeed, forks in the road. Now, Biomutant, however, actively seems to make a joke of such binary morality systems by having the first choice that you make in the game literally be a fork in the road, complete with an angel and devil character highlighting the action you're about to take. From there, however, the morality system takes a massive deep dive, letting nearly every dialogue choice play out with evil and good options. Now, this has a huge knock-on effect further down the line, as characters that you were mean to before might not help you out in a pinch or refuse to give you information on local secrets. However, before you think that this game only rewards goody two-shoes, you can show them the power of evil quite literally by unlocking special powers and abilities, as well as side with those looking to destroy the world rather than save it. Now, I won't spoil some of the choices that you can make, but there's a truly interesting array of options available to you when it comes to solving tribal wars, local disputes, and even the fate of the world. Sometimes you won't even need to unholster your gun if you're that good at talking your way out of a problem. And remember, you're in control of every single step. Number 2. Evolve as you explore. One of the truly mind-melting things about Biomutant is how it rewards players for exploring the vast and vibrant world that Experiment 101 has created. Whereas some games can make you feel like you're simply ticking boxes while going from checkpoint to checkpoint, Biomutant relishes in a system that sees your misshapen mammal evolve as you explore. And by this, I mean that certain exposure to radiation and other mutating environmental locations will see your character warp and evolve in order to better protect themselves. For example, if you spend a lengthy stay in a radioactive swamp, don't be surprised if you're suddenly unlocking the ability to cover your foes in goo, or indeed form a protective bubble of snot around you to make trekking through that little bit easier. And if you want to go big brain on the whole thing, then you can spend time exploring the radioactive bunkers and seek out biocanisters that can buff up your psi abilities. Where most games reward you with loot and weapon for clearing out caves, Biomutant sees you emerge stronger, more capable, and thoroughly weirder than when you entered. And number 1, open world mechs? So as I've explored, the world of Biomutant is wild and wonderful and full of different types of creatures to turn into evolutionary dead ends. However, the question arises, how are you going to get from point A to point B when in between is a myriad of different hazards? Well, if you answered, I'm just going to hop into my own personalized mech suit and batter anything that gets in my way into the ground like it was a tent peg made of flesh, then congratulations, as you are clearly the right sort of mad that Experiment 101 is catering to. In fact, the sheer amount of mounts and traversal options are stunning. For example, if you wanted to cruise the open wild fields, then why not do so from the back of a 9-foot tall goat, which is just one of the many wild creatures that you can locate and tame using berries and seeds to befriend them. Or if you fancy hitting the water, then you can zip across the lakes and ocean waves with a customizable jet bike, and even deck it out with scrap collecting upgrades or speed boosting engines that will carry you through murky and poisonous areas. And of course, you can take to the skies using gliders and even your handy automaton, which with a few upgrades will be able to carry you across ravines to hidden nests and secret areas. It's genuinely impressive just how many ways there are to get around. Oh, and just one more thing, you can give your giant walking mechanical battlesuit a giant duck head. So yeah, that's a thing to get excited about. And there we go, my friends. Those were 7 incredible Biomutant features that will blow you away. I hope that you enjoyed that, and please let me know what you thought about it down in the comment section below. As always, I've been Jules. You can go follow me over on Twitter at RetroJ with a 0, or you can swing by Live and Let's Dice. That's where I do all of my game streaming outside of work, and it'd be great to see you over there, my friends. But before I go, I just want to say one thing. I hope that you are doing well, my friend. I hope that you are treating yourself with love and respect. Because if you are and you carry on doing so, you will evolve into a healthier and happier person, because you are a massive ledge and you need to let the world know it. As always, I've been Jules. You have been awesome. Never forget that. And I'll speak to you soon. Bye.